Alright, so today I'm just going to give you an overall rundown of very basic fundamentals on the clarinet. And we're going to start with instrument assembly. What I like to do with instrument assembly is build it from the bottom up, especially at this stage. Because in my opinion, it gets harder as you go up. So we're going to go ahead and grab the bell, and then the lower joint, which is that. And go ahead and just, with the brand facing out on the bell, just go ahead and place it. And yeah. Cool. Awesome. Not too hard. Alright, then let's take the upper joint, which is right here. And the hard part about this is watching the bridge keys. It's also upside down. Watching the bridge keys and making sure that they don't hit anything and bend anything. So go ahead and try, yeah. And I'll take a look at this after it's done, don't worry. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. Alright, so now we're going to grab the barrel, which is, for whatever reason, attached to the mouthpiece. You're going to put the fat side down and just place it right on top. Cool. Now the mouthpiece, which is challenging. So we have the reed, which we've soaked. You can go and put it back in your mouth. So what you want to do, hold it straight out like this, place the reed on it, then we'll put the ligature, and then we'll adjust after the ligature's on. So go ahead and put it on. And watch the tip of the reed because they're very delicate. Yeah, go ahead and bring the screws to the front, though, facing you. You gotta make sure the screws are the right, yeah, good. And then you can go ahead and tighten. Very nice, cool. And now you can go ahead and place that on there. You might wiggle a few things around, but we can adjust other way.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Alright, so now let's talk about posture now that this is all together. With posture, you just make sure that you're at the very front of your seat and not leaning on anything. Because if you lean, it's like kinking a hose and you don't get all the water out of the hose. In this case, it's air. So let's go ahead and try just sitting feet flat on the floor, straight up. And don't worry about this, just make sure you're not dropping it and hurting it. Cool. And it doesn't need to be like, the most proper thing. It just needs to be relaxed also. You don't make sure that you're not hurting yourself or giving yourself back problems. Cool. So now let's talk about instrument carriage. So what's going to happen when you're playing an instrument, you're going to make sure that it basically goes between your knees. And then this will help, especially once we actually put our mouth on the mouthpiece. And then it's about a 30-ish degree angle, a few degrees, give or take. With the right hand, just make sure it's on the thumb rest. This is basically your balance. You can adjust this to whatever ergonomics, whatever your hands require to play the instrument. They look big enough though for the instrument. Then with the left hand, just go ahead and put the thumb down over this hole, which will play there. And then go ahead and just, comfortably over the instrument. A good way to think about it is having your hands in the shapes of C's, because that encourages this arc right here, which means that your fingers are going to be relaxed, which allows them to move a lot faster when you're playing tricky passages, which can get really weird up here, especially crossing the register. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about where the fingers are going to be placed on the keys. So, where you see these holes, we won't go too specific, but generally you just want to lay them over here. And then pinkies are going to go on these spatula areas. Yeah, cool. Alright, let's go and talk about breath support. We can go and put this down. We'll do a review of that later. With breath support, a good thing I do to, just give yourself a model breath is say help and inhale at the same time. So, yeah, and breathe through the diaphragm, not always through here, or else you're going to cut yourself off. Same with singing, I'm sure you know. Alright, so go ahead and try that. Great, yeah, and this is great right here, which means you'll be able to play the instrument for a longer time than when you up here. Cool. So now let's go ahead and try actually putting our mouth on the instrument. The mouth on the mouthpiece, that's called the embouchure, the formation of it. What I like to think of it as is a rubber band around the mouthpiece. It's going to keep it tight and firm, but it's not going to crush anything. It's not going to apply a lot of pressure. It's just basically making sure that the instrument becomes part like it's one continuous thing.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes part of you and your breathing and whatnot. So what you're gonna do is have your teeth on top, and that's gonna provide a lot of stability there. Then you're gonna make sure your top lip is brought in, not over the teeth obviously, but in as far as you can. And then the bottom lip is gonna act as a cushion for the reed, which will eventually help with tone and whatnot. And you're gonna make sure that everything's really tight. And then with the corners of your mouth, bring them in. That is, I cannot stress that enough. Bring in the corners of your mouth. It's something that you should be able to experiment with later, depending on tone and whatnot. And you want to make sure that air isn't leaking, because this is a very common place for air to leak.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So why don't we go and try that? Let's go ahead and take off the barrel on up, and let me just see your embouchure. Cool. It looks pretty good. Up here, it's kind of going out a little bit too much. Just go ahead and think about tightening things overall. But overall, it looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So now let's go ahead and try to make a sound out of it. Now that we have just the mouthpiece and the barrel off, this is what a lot of clarinet players do to warm up. We're just going to go and try with that embouchure and just blowing straight through. Yeah. And it can be kind of tricky setting your embouchure right away. And one thing I think of is saying we, and that will help tighten everything, and then just placing it and adjusting it. Cool. Yeah, very good. Cool. So let's go and try putting this on the instrument now. And then doing kind of what I just showed you, with everything we learned about instrument carriage taken into consideration. So between the knees, fingers where I showed you, very relaxed, curved, and go and try that. And we'll go ahead and have just this covered with thumb. Let me see again. Yeah, cool. It's a good sound. Cool. So try that again. Try taking like the help breath before you do it. Got quieter. Don't be scared of it, but we'll keep moving. It's a good sound though. Just feel it. Alright, now let's talk about articulation, which is going to be your tongue touching the reed. You're going to make sure it's the tip of your tongue, not too far back, but not too far forward either. Just to make sure that you give yourself space for the tongue to come back and hit it again. So go ahead and try like the tip to a few millimeters back. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Try that one more time. And I'll watch. Okay, one little thing. You're kind of going like this when you play, and that's kind of kinking the hose. So just make sure that it's very relaxed. Without a squeak. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Very good. Thank you.